Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. Sometimes bad things lead to something good. Now, I'm going to tell you what. Like last week, I talked about staying strong during those bad times, right? Things happening and stuff remaining strong. But you know what? That's not the end of the story, though. Sometimes something can seem bad. It can seem terrible. But then it was actually a good thing that came from it. Like, I give you a great example. How many of us have had that person we thought would have made the great mate, might have made a good wife, or, for the women listening, a good husband, and you thought this person was so great. And, either you didn't get with them or you might have been with them for a bit, but it was a terrible breakup or something. And, you're going to feel bad either way. But how often has it happened when, like maybe years down the road, you see how the person turned out and you just like, oh, wow, I think I dodged a bullet. And even in a better situation, you actually end up with the person that you meant to be with. Now, I know we've all had that, but then, there's situations happen whenever. I mean, you could lose a job. It could have been paying all your bills. You're making a little bit of money. All of a sudden, you lose it. And, you might go through a bad time or something. But then you end up with the dream job. Or you start a business or something, and it's actually better than what you had before. I'm going to tell you what. A lesson I learned from my grandmother, rest her spirit, is that, there's always a silver lining in a cloud. There's always something. We don't see it, though. I'm going to tell you what. We do not see it. We might not see it then, and let's be real. How can we? We just think about the situation right there. But often when, and many people who are spiritual will say this, when God closes one door, or one door closes, God has opened up another one for you. Like something else is meant. Something else is meant. Now, you don't see that sometimes, of course, and even while you going through that something bad, you might not think that something's going to come about it because you might not can see past it. But there's always something. It's always something. It can always be something better. Like, let me use the maid example again. That person that, you're going through a bad breakup with or going through some trouble with, once they out of the picture, then the right person is right there. The real happiness is there. Because if you dwell in any bad situation, it could be, with a mate, it could be in a job, it could be in a neighborhood, any situation. How are you going to change it? And see, sometimes we stay in those situations or don't even look for a way out because we don't know any better. But there's always a path. There is always a path. There's always something better. I don't care what you're going through. And sometimes maybe that had been the thing that pushed you out. And I remember I've had several of those occasions in life. I've had several of those occasions in my life, because I'm like, okay, I got to do better than this. And then I always look back and I'm like, man, I dodged a bullet or I got out of it. Or because of that negative incident or negative circumstances I was going through, I'm like, you know what? If those things didn't happen, I wouldn't have went to where I'm going now. I want you to think about it, because sometimes we do get caught. We really do get caught in some stuff, and we get used to it. We get used to the pain. In fact, we develop a coping mechanism for the pain to the point we don't even notice the pain like we used to. It's like having a toothache, right? That's a great example. That's like having a toothache, but for whatever reason, you can't afford to get it really looked at or dealt with. So you figure out a way to deal with it. You'll take all that pain-killing medicine and maybe not eat certain foods or drink certain things that will annoy that tooth, right? And it's totally bad, but then you might it might force you to do some things to get rid of that toothache. You might have to get another job, better insurance, something like that. But then once it's gone, it's like, wait a minute, this feels way better. And that's just life, y'all. That is just life. I mean, like I say, whenever something let's put it like this. Anytime something bad going on, sit back and say, okay, what good can come from this? You know? And then when you can even envision what good can come from it, then that's something to focus on. That can get you through it. That's something to build towards. Because I've seen it a lot. Business people have seen this. You know, they might have a business. I've actually read accounts of people, they like in a certain type of business, it didn't go well, but then it forced them to look at something else. You know? So, you know what? When those things happen, you know, of course, stay strong during those instances. Stay very strong during those instances, but realize there might be a silver lining. There might be. All right? And even, you know what, even if it's not a specific silver lining, shoot, if you're going through something bad, you know it can get better no matter what, even if all you do is just get out of that bad situation. So remember, and that's good in itself. Shoot, that's good. You know? That's good. It might open up something for you, no telling what, on so many levels. So, I'm going to tell you what. I want you to think about that, no matter what. And I mean, like I said, let me just be very clear about this. I don't care what the situation is. I've known people who've gone through some bad situations and they found a path to spirit. Seriously, they just going through, and then, you know, they might have just said, you know what, I might not be here if this didn't happen. And then they put themselves in a position where they can help other people. You know, and that could be to something good. You done went through something, you done survived it, now you're in a position to really help other people, and that brings you some joy. But always understand that. I don't care what bad it is. And I'm going to tell you what, that's been kind of my secret. Whenever something bad or something negative happens, I always sit back and say, okay, that negative thing happened. What did I learn from that? What can I take away from that situation? And no matter how small, I'll look at it that way. I want y'all to do the same thing. I don't care how bad things get. Remember, it can always get better. Something good can always come from it. So that's all I have for today, y'all. I want y'all to keep rising and transforming. Peace.